Cleopatra did not lose power in a single moment. She lost it slowly, through shifting alliances, through changing loyalties, through a world that no longer needed her influence. Because power built on perception is powerful, but fragile. And when the balance changes, perception turns against you. Julius Caesar's death changed everything. Rome fractured. Alliances collapsed. Certainty vanished. For Cleopatra, this was not grief. It was recalculation. She understood a truth few rulers accept. Power never mourns. It moves. And Cleopatra moved with it. Mark Antony was not Caesar. He was emotional, charismatic, unstable. But he was powerful. Cleopatra did not fall in love blindly. She invested. Antony needed legitimacy. She needed protection. Their bond was not romance. It was alignment. Until emotion entered the equation. At first, Cleopatra controlled the balance. But time changes power dynamics. Antony began to depend on her, and she began to rely on him. This was the shift. When strategy becomes attachment, clarity weakens. Cleopatra's greatest strength, emotional intelligence, now became vulnerability. Rome does not tolerate influence it cannot control. Cleopatra was no longer useful. She was dangerous. Octavian understood something critical. To defeat Cleopatra, you do not attack her armies. You destroy her image. And Rome began rewriting the story. Cleopatra was labeled manipulative, immoral, a foreign seductress, not a ruler, not a strategist. This was not accident. It was strategy. Because delegitimization is more effective than invasion. Once perception shifts, power collapses from within. Cleopatra found herself alone. Trusted advisors vanished. Allies hesitated. Support became conditional. Influence demands visibility. But visibility invites attack. Cleopatra could not disappear. And she could not fully defend herself. Actium was not just a battle. It was a verdict. A public judgment of legitimacy. And Cleopatra lost. Not because she lacked intelligence, but because Rome controlled the story. Once perception turned, outcomes followed. After Actium, everything changed. Support eroded. Loyalty evaporated. Cleopatra remained queen. In name only. The most dangerous moment in power is not attack. It is abandonment. Cleopatra faced reality. Capture meant humiliation. Survival meant surrender. She chose neither. Because some rulers refused to exist as symbols of defeat. Cleopatra understood legacy. And legacy requires control. Even in ending, Cleopatra's death was not escape. It was authorship. She chose how history would remember her. Not paraded, not diminished, but decisive. In her final act, she reclaimed narrative control. Cleopatra was remembered as temptation, not intelligence, as seduction, not strategy, because history often punishes women who master power too well. Her greatest crime was effectiveness. Cleopatra did not conquer through fear. She conquered through relevance. She inserted herself into the decisions of empires. She proved that influence can rival armies, and that scared the world. Cleopatra teaches us that power in a hostile system demands perfection. One mistake becomes unforgivable. One weakness becomes fatal. She ruled brilliantly, but paid completely. At Born to Conquer, we don't simplify greatness. We expose its cost. Because conquest is not just achievement, it is endurance. Cleopatra conquered empires without armies, but in a world that feared her intelligence. The price of mastery was everything, and that is the true cost of power. Cleopatra's story forces us to confront an uncomfortable truth. Power does not reward intelligence alone. It rewards conformity. And when someone reshapes the rules instead of obeying them, history often responds with punishment, not praise. She was not destroyed because she failed. She was destroyed because she succeeded too independently. Because she proved that influence could exist outside Rome's control. And systems built on dominance cannot tolerate a mind they cannot command. Cleopatra reminds us that conquest is not always about expansion. Sometimes it is about resistance. The refusal to be reduced, rewritten, or erased. And even in her fall, she left behind a legacy more dangerous than armies. The idea that power can be intelligent, feminine, strategic, and still unbreakable.